If you feel like you grew up too fast, not because you wanted to, but because life demanded or required too much of you from an early or tender age, then this video is for you. If it resonates with you, I want to let you know that you are not alone. For a very long time, I didn't realize that I'd grown up too fast. Before the realization, I always thought I was just responsible or too mature for my age or just independent. And it felt good to have been able to display those behaviors at a tender age. And I was praised for it a lot. And I wore those praises like a badge of honor. But here's the thing. Nobody ever questioned why I was too mature at an early age. Nobody ever bothered to question why I displayed the behaviors that I did so early on. And a lot of times, people don't bother to question maturity or early independence because these are thought to be good traits to have. Also, having those traits or growing up fast does not scream obvious trauma. But here's the thing. Trauma can show up in subtle ways. So growing up too fast might have looked like you learning not to require or demand too much from a tender or early age. You having to figure out things on your own. You feeling responsible for keeping things together, holding things together so that they don't fall apart. It could have also looked like you becoming too emotionally aware before you were ready. The realization came for me as an adult when I started to notice that I was very capable, but I was always tired. I was always exhausted. The realization came when I started to notice that I was very independent, but also very unsure of how to receive, not to mention ask for help. Thinking about asking for help would send me in a spiral of anxiety every time. The realization came for me when I started to notice that even though I could handle a lot on my plate emotionally and mentally, I could not rest. I had problems sleeping. My mind was always spiraling. My mind was always working. In fact, oftentimes trying to rest would leave me feeling even more tired, more exhausted, more confused. And for a very long time, I thought these were my personality trait because I'm an introvert. So certainly, I have to be tired after doing certain things or working hard or completing a difficult task. It wasn't until later I realized that these were in fact not my personality trait, but they were my coping skills or survival skills. This realization helped me to put into perspective that I'm not broken. And I want to say that clearly. Growing up too fast did not make me broken. It does not make you broken. Instead, it makes us adaptive. Because you see, those skills were learned and were needed at a time in our life when support did not show up for us because it was not available. With that realization, I was able to be much more softer on myself. I started to, instead of question my exhaustion, and think that feeling exhausted mean I was failing, I started to listen to my body. And I started to realize that me feeling exhausted, those signals just meant that my body was ready for care. It didn't mean that I needed to go and fix my personality, fix myself. No, it just meant my body was ready for care. And I was getting those subtle nudges. Once I had that realization and I started to listen to my body, I had mental clarity. I started to have mental clarity and things only got better from there. My life started to pivot in ways that I had never imagined. If any of this feels familiar to you, I want to let you know that you didn't do anything wrong. Yes, if you feel like you grew up too fast, you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, all you did was survive the best way you knew how to, with the tools or skills that you had. You don't need to blame yourself. You don't need to blame anyone. If any of this feels familiar to you, you don't need to go and overanalyze your past. Not today. You don't need to do that. Instead, just take a minute to notice when you learned to be older than you actually were. And I want you to do it from a place of compassion and not from a place of judgment. Sit with yourself. Sit with the question. And if nothing pops up immediately, then it's okay. You asking yourself that question is enough. We are not rushing the realization. We are not rushing the insight. Instead, we want to honor it. And when you are able to honor yourself, to honor insights, to honor how your body feels, then that builds awareness. And awareness grows at its own pace. Most importantly, this channel is not about perfection. It's about compassion and understanding so that we can be kinder to ourselves. So if you grow up fast, regardless of what your circumstances were and what your circumstances are today, I want to let you know that you can rest. You don't have to keep using those same skills. They served you back then. They did. But now you are in a new season of your life, or you're getting ready to walk into a new season of your life. Notice within yourself if you do need those skills still. And if you find that there is a nudge, if it's even a small one that's telling you that you no longer need those skills, then by all means, lay them to the side. Of course, you won't be able to suddenly or immediately get over years of wiring and conditioning. And even after you've healed, these skills will still pop up. And you might still need to use them, just not in the same capacity that you once did. And that is okay, because those skills were valuable back then and they are valuable now because they have made you into the person that you are. If you are here with me today, thank you. Until next time, walk good.